Hi guys, it's Amyololps here, and here's another YouTube video where I'm going to be showing you some of my Five Nights at Freddy's customs. These guys I made a very long time ago, so they're not very good really, and a lot of them are bad quality, but anyway, I just hope you enjoy. So yeah, enjoy! So the first one I'm going to show you is my first ever LPS custom that I ever made. He was made from one of these hamsters, obviously, and he had stick-on eyes, so that's why I painted over them like this. I haven't wanted to do anything else with him since he is my first custom, and though he is really scruffy and stuff, I really just want to keep him as he is because I kind of love him, even though he's really bad. The next one I made was Marionette, and he was made from the same base as the Dead Child one. And he was my second custom actually, and I'm really happy with how he turned out considering he is my second custom. There isn't a whole lot to say about him, other than he's really small and he doesn't really suit the thing, but because he has stick-on eyes as well as the other one, I can just paint them. The last one I made from this base was the Living Child from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. He is a much more recent custom I made later last year, and that's why his paint job is a lot better. There's not a huge amount to say about him. He obviously was made from the same base as my first custom, like the first two. So, yeah. Next I'm going to show you my toy customs. This is Mangle. She is very old, that's why she's so scruffy. And she was actually my first LPS custom that I made using nail polish, but then I ended up repainting her with acrylics, but even then it was still a long time ago, and that's why it's not very good, and that's why there's no sculpting on her. But I think she turned out quite well, kind of, because I used the exact same kind of design that I used with the nail polish. The next one I made was Freddy. He was made from a G3 Panda base, or Penny Ling or something like that, and he was a sparkly pet, but I've completely forgot to remove the sparkles, and you can tell he's very old because the sculpting's really bad. But I think his paint job's quite good. Got his little bow tie, his cheeks and his hat, and I love his lazy eyes. Next up we have Chica. Now I accidentally scratched her really badly, and she's a much more recent custom, but yeah, I did scratch her, so I might need to paint over that again. But I sculpted a little thing, and I don't know, there's not a huge amount to say about her either, other than I think she turned out really well, and she's my second version of Chica. The first one is just really bad, I'm not even going to show it. Next we have my second version of Toy Bonnie. He is definitely one of my favourite Five Nights at Freddy's customs that I've made, simply because he's just absolutely adorable, and he is a massive improvement from my first Bonnie custom, which if you've probably seen him on my Instagram you'll know why I decided to make a second one. But yeah, not a huge amount to say about him. He was made from a baby bunny, obviously, and I just think he's really cute, so. Next up we have Balloon Boy. Now I kind of rushed him a lot, especially with the sculpting, that's why it's not very good. And he was made from one of those really old dogs. I don't really know what kind of dog it is, but I think he turned out quite well. Kind of, the painting's a little bit rushed in places, and it's a bit scrappy, but yeah, and plus his propeller keeps breaking off all the time. Next we're moving on to the slightly more creepy customs. Here is my Shadow Bonnie. He was really simple to paint, and he is one of my, I think, first 15 ever customs, so he is old, but I think his paint job turned out really well considering how old he is. There's not a huge amount to say about him, except I kind of love him, I adore him. Here's Shadow Freddy. Once again, not a huge amount to say about him. He isn't as good as my Shadow Bonnie, I don't think, even though he had more detail on him. But yeah, I gave him all the teeth and some of the wires that he's got sticking out. But yeah, I like him, but I don't love him. Next I've got the Endoskeleton. I've never actually seen anyone else do a custom of him, so if I'm the first then that's pretty cool. He's completely plain from the back, but he's all supposed to be showy at the front. I sculpted his mouth and just painted everything else. Once again, not a lot to say about him, but I think he's really cool. It is Purple Guy. He is extremely old, so that's why he's so bad. There's not a lot to say about him other than the fact that I really don't like him. His paint job isn't very good at all, and his sculpting's really scruffy. I just generally don't like him as a custom, but I don't really want to sell him because he's part of my Five Nights at Freddy's collection, but I might do at some point. On to the Withered customs. Here is Withered Bonnie. I really like him. simply because I really like the way I did his face, because I've seen different people do customs where they completely cut out his face. I didn't really want to do that because I didn't really want to follow along the trend, so I just sculpted him a bottom jaw to go over his mouth and painted in the rest of it. And you can see he's got his little red eyes, and I cut out part of his arm, so he still manages to stand up, so that's good. Here is Withered Chica, and she refuses to stand up most of the time. But yeah, I've seen not very many Withered Chica customs, and definitely none with an ostrich base, so that's why I decided to make one. And her mouth is a little bit crazy, I know, and her eyes are a bit psycho, but I think she turned out quite well. She's got her little things. Like I said before, most of these customs are very old, and that's why a lot of them aren't as good as my more recent customs. Next up we've got Withered Foxy, and he was made from a pig base because I didn't have any foxes, but I think the pig base worked really well for him. I sculpted his mouth, eye patch, tail, hook, and his hair obviously. Not a huge amount to say about him, other than he is supposed to be all scruffy and stuff, so I think he turned out quite well considering. The sculpting isn't necessarily great, especially on the eye patch, but I think it turned out okay. Now we're on to my other two Five Nights at Freddy's 4 customs. This is my Golden Fredbear I made. He's very old as well, and I made him just when the game first came out, and his paint is starting to crack around his eyes, which I really hate, but I don't know, I might repaint him, just the eyes pretty much. But I think he turned out quite well, and yeah, I made him before Pia's did, and I showed Pia my design sketch for him. She thought it was really cool because I made him out of a French bulldog, and then I just carved out a lot of the things and gave him all his teeth. But yeah, I think he turned out really well. My final Five Nights at Freddy's custom from the game itself is my Night Marion, which was from the Halloween thing. I'm not really sure what it was, but it's basically just a really creepy marionette from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and I used a head swap of a caterpillar head and a monkey body to make this. But yeah, not a huge amount to say. I think he's quite cool. His paint job wasn't necessarily amazing, but yeah. My final and most very important custom is my Markiplier custom. He is Five Nights at Freddy's inspired, as you can see by the red cheeks. He is one of my favourite customs of all time, and one of my best painted customs. He was simply because I love Markiplier and Five Nights at Freddy's, and obviously he is the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, so I thought it would only be fair to make a custom of him. I've never seen a custom like this before, and he is my own design, so I'd really respect it if you do not copy him. You can make your own Markiplier custom. I'm not saying that you can't, but just this is my own design for him, so please don't copy. But yeah, I sculpted a lot of stuff on him: his extra hair, his hat, his cheeks, his bow tie, and his moustache and nose. But yeah, I really love him. So those are all my Five Nights at Freddy's customs. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you, I don't know, want to give me some suggestions or something. And subscribe if you're new, and check out my Instagram at Amyololps for more awesome customs and stuff. So yeah, Amyolo checking out. Bye!